Good morning, Montrose United Methodist Church and the wider community joining us for worship. I am Pastor Lisa, and I am thrilled that you're here. It is one of the joys that we live in such an age with technology that we're able to bring you worship in this way, since we are not able to gather in person. I want to say a huge thank you to Steve Gray, who puts together our worship each week to put all of our things in order and make sure everything gets just right, so that we can join together on Sunday mornings or whenever we hold worship. It's November 22nd, and it is Christ the King Sunday, or now known as Reign of Christ Sunday. It seems an odd time, the week before we begin Advent, the time of Christmas, to talk about the reign of Christ and to celebrate a risen Savior. Christ died, buried, and risen again, when next week we have Jesus barely the glint in the eyes of his parents. But it is full circle for us that we celebrate Christ, recognizing today Christ's reign in the whole world. And next week that we remember it started out with a baby, with even just the promise of a coming king. But today, we celebrate Christ, our King, our kingdom that Christ reigns through. Friends, I am thankful that you're here in worship. Would you join me as we begin with prayer? Amazing and loving God, we thank you for this time together, for the ways in which we're able to gather even when we are not together in the same space, but that we would send our prayers to one another through cyberspace and through all of the universe, that they would reach one another, that we would think of the people we might be sitting next to in worship. Lord, you know them. You know all of the people. For you, Lord, know every hair on every head. You know every name of every person. For you, Lord, are our God. You are Christ, our King. And so we come together and we worship you. Be with us this day as we come together for worship. It is in your name that we pray. Amen.
Truth you now bring us, shine on me, shine on me, shine, Jesus, shine, fill this land with the Father's glory, Holy Spirit blaze, set our hearts on fire. from glory to glory. Hear, may our lives tell your story. Shine on me, shine on me. Shine, Jesus, shine. Fill this land with the Father's glory. Blaze, Spirit, blaze. Set our hearts on fire. Flow, river, flow. Flood the nations with grace and mercy. Send forth your word, Lord, and let there be light. Shine, Jesus, shine. Fill this land with the Father's glory. Blaze, Spirit, blaze. Set our hearts on fire. Flow, river, flow. Flood the nations with grace and mercy. Send forth your word, Lord, and let there be light. Send forth your word, Lord, and let there be light.
A reading from Psalms 100. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord is God. It is he that made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name. For the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations.
This is where children belong. Welcome this mortal the worshiping throng. Water, God's word, bread and cup, prayer and song. This is where children belong. This is where children belong.
Good morning, everybody. Today I have a prayer for us to do. So this is called the Skittles Prayer for Thanksgiving. So the first thing you need is a package of Skittles. If you want a big one, you could have a big one if you really wanted. And then I want you guys to take and sort your Skittles by color. We're going to start with orange. So gather all of your orange Skittles. And I want you to pray a prayer of thanks to God for everything he has given you. Your family, your friends, your church, food, clothes, shelter, toys, and anything else you are thankful for. Next, I invite you to gather all of your yellow Skittles. And I want you to pray for someone in your life you are thankful for by name. Pray specifically for that person that God would bless them. If they don't know Jesus as their Savior, pray that God would help you tell them how much Jesus loves them. Next, I want you to find all of the green Skittles. Pray and ask God to show you how you can give to others this holiday season. Pray that God would show you someone you can help out by spending time with them or giving them something they need. Next, grab all of your purple Skittles. Pray for those who may not have food or family to spend time with this Thanksgiving. Pray that God would comfort them and provide them with food and with people in their life to show them love. And lastly, grab all of your red Skittles. Pray that as Christmas season begins after Thanksgiving, people would remember that Jesus is the reason we celebrate. Pray that people who don't know Jesus as their Savior will come to know Jesus as their Savior this Christmas. Thank you.
Friends, we're going to take a moment and spend some time in prayer. We recognize that each of you have prayer concerns, and so we invite you to put them in the comment section if you're worshiping with us on Facebook, or you can send us your prayers if you're worshiping with us on our YouTube channel. Your prayers can be sent to office@montroseumc.org, and we will be in prayer for you. Friends, let us take a moment. Let us remember those who are working on the front lines, as we recognize that hospitals across the continent are starting to fill up, but especially here in the United States. May our prayers be with those healthcare workers and with each of the families who are suffering at this time. Let us go to God with our prayers. Amazing and loving God, we come thankful for your creation, for the way in which you have created each one of us. You, Lord, are shepherd over the lost and the least. You, Lord, teach us to see your face in every person, the people we know and the people we don't, those who are poor and hungry and thirsty. Help us to give food and drink. Help us to welcome the stranger and to give clothing to those who are naked. Lord, help us to see those who are sick or in prison and the ways in which we may reach out to be Christ to them. May we share in this, your eternal space, prepared from the foundation of the world. For you, Lord, created all, and we are but a part of it. Let us bring heaven on earth as we love and share your grace as that Jesus did. For we come as his disciples and we pray together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
A reading from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 25, verses 31 through 46. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne. Before him he will be gathered all the nations, and he will separate them one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will place the sheep at his right hand, but the goats at the left. Then the king will say to those at his right hand, Come, O blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see thee hungry and feed thee, or thirsty and give thee drink? And when did we see thee a stranger and welcome thee, or naked and clothe thee? And when did we see thee sick or in prison and visit thee? And the king will answer them, Truly I say to you, as you did it to the least of these my brethren, you did it to me. Then he will say to those at his left hand, Depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you did not welcome me. Naked, and you did not clothe me. Sick and in prison, and you did not visit me. Then they also will answer, Lord, when did we see thee hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison, and did not minister to thee? Then he will answer them, Truly I say to you, as you did not to one of the least of these, you did it not to me. And they will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. The word of the Lord for all the people of this world.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer. Friends, this Reign of Christ Sunday is a beautiful time to remember how much God has given. It's also the week before Thanksgiving. We will gather together around tables, some that will look very different this year. Some people will not be with us. We will look at empty chairs and we will grieve. We might even gather around a table that is much smaller than we have in years past because we're not traveling nearly as much to see friends or family who we might in other years be with. And so we will probably take a moment when we gather around any table and grieve that we are not with more people. We can give thanks for Christ. If nothing else, we can give thanks for Jesus, our Lord. Because friends, I don't know about you, but this year has seemed pretty sparse when it comes to giving thanks. I don't want to give thanks that we have to worship this way. It feels awkward and just a little impersonal. I don't want to give thanks that we aren't able to hug one another, that we aren't able to shake hands and greet with a smile. Giving thanks for these things feels especially awkward. But what I do know is that we are called to love, and that looks very different this year than in any years past, at least in my lifetime, and probably most of yours. The way in which we are called to love looks like wearing masks and keeping our distance and rubbing elbows when we are able to see people in person and smile with the squints of our eyes as our masks cover up our mouth. And so we give thanks for being able to do even those little things, because those little things seem to be helping keep people safe and well. Friends, we look at our text this morning from Matthew 25, and it seems very familiar. And I think I told you last week that this is the "When did we see you, Lord?" text. It is the "When did we see you hungry or thirsty? When did we see you a stranger? When did we see you in prison? When did we see you, Lord?" And there are two sets of people. Jesus is saying that there was a king and he separates those on his right and those on his left, and they are the sheep and they are the goats. And the "When did we see you, Lord?" To those on his right, he said, "Well, you saw me every time there was somebody hungry, and every time you saw somebody who was thirsty, and you gave them food and you gave them drink. You come, be blessed." And you, "When did we see you, Lord?" on his left. "Well, you saw those who were thirsty, and you saw those who were hungry, and you passed by. You turned your head, you closed your eyes." And friends, I think this text tells us of these literal and physical things because I think they are important. And I think Jesus does call us to give drink to the thirsty, to help the prisoner, to visit them, to be friends to the stranger. I do think Jesus calls us to this. But I also think, as we talked about so often before, that Jesus talks in parables and he's saying more than just what he is saying. I wonder what happens to our text if we look at it from a bigger picture. What if there are those who are thirsting for righteousness? What if there are those who are hungering for justice? What if there are those who are imprisoned by shame? and maybe those who need to be clothed in righteousness. Friends, when have we seen these people? And when have we been these people? When have we reached out and given and said, yes, I will help you as you hunger for justice. I will feed you. I will walk with you. And when have we said, no, thank you. Your justice can wait. Turned a blind eye, shut our eyes, walked away. Friends, I think what Jesus is saying here is more than just the physical. I think there are so many ways in which we turn our backs and we don't want to help. When people are imprisoned by shame, have we said, yeah, you should feel ashamed? Or have we said, do you know the grace of Christ is big enough for you? Has anybody told you that? Friends, these are the things in which I give thanks for this week. I don't know about you, but I know that there are times in my life when I have thirsted and hungered, when I have been imprisoned. And it was people like you, people like your neighbors, your sons and your daughters and your parents and your grandparents, your aunts and uncles who helped provide those things for me as the hands and feet and voice of Jesus. They have said, you don't need to feel ashamed, for you are loved by a big, beautiful God. Friends, probably, no, most definitely, there is somebody in your life who needs to hear these words, who needs you to say, I see you. I see you hungry. I see you imprisoned. Can I share Christ with you? Can I share his love and his grace? Can you know the reign of our big, beautiful God? Because his grace is sufficient. Friends, when we look at this scripture, I hope you take a deep, hard look at it. I know that the ending is hard. And like last week, there is this banishment into eternal damnation. And we think, that doesn't fit with my understanding of who God is. And it's hard. And so I want you to start thinking about what I know to be true, what I believe to be true, which is that many people create, make, and stay in their own hell here on earth because they don't share the love of God, because they don't extend the grace of Christ, and therefore they are imprisoned by their own staunchy ways in which they wag a finger and say, friends, I think when Jesus says, here are those on my right and those on my left, here are my sheep and my goats, he is saying, there's room for everybody. Open that heart up a little more. Share it. And you who have shared it, you are blessed. Friends, that's your homework this week. As we come to Thanksgiving and as we come to this time where we're looking towards the hope of a newborn baby, your homework this week is to see who in your life might need some grace, might need some love, might need some light, might need to know they are not alone. Because right now, so many feel alone. Friends, you are not. You are loved by a big and beautiful God, and God's grace is yours. Friends, your homework is to extend it, share it, share, and share, and share, and open up these hands, just as you would your Thanksgiving table, to those who are in need of food. open up your heart to those who are in need of this grace and this love, this justice and this righteousness. Friends, I miss you, and I love you, and I know Christ loves you. Amen.
When the poor ones who have nothing share with strangers, when the thirsty give a well unto a soul, when the crippled in their weakness strengthen others, then we know that God still clothes that road with us. Then we know that God still clothes that road with us. When at last all those who suffer find their comfort, when they hope, though even hope seems hopelessness, when we love, though hate at times seems all around us, then we know that God still clothes that road with us. Then we know that God still clothes that road with us. When our joy fills up our cup to overflowing, when our lips can speak no words other than true, when we know that love for simple things is better, then we know that God still clothes that road with us. Then we know that God still clothes that road with us. When our homes are filled with goodness in abundance, when we learn how to make peace instead of war, when each stranger that we meet is called a neighbor, then we know that God still clothes that road with us. Then we know that God still clothes that road with us.
Friends, I want to thank you for the ways in which you continue to give. And when you give this morning, I know that you write checks and you can go on your phone and you can text, and all that information will be here on your screen. But I also have a gift for you, which is that Kelly Thompson has sung this beautiful song that has been going around in my head all week. And it's typically a Christmas song. However, if you listen to the words, it is a Reign of Christ Sunday song. It is a Christ the King Sunday song. So, friends, you have this gift for you this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving to the work of the church. Thank you for giving to all of the different ministries. There's so many different options if you go onto our website and check that out. And thank you in addition to giving towards the staff bonus, which is an extra thing you get to do. If you'd like to say thank you to all of our amazing staff for all of the extra work that they have put in this year, we invite you to do that as well and simply put staff bonus on your checks. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Of the Father's love begotten, ere the world began. Alpha and Omega, He the source, the ending He, of the things that are, that have been, and that future years shall see. Evermore and evermore. O ye heights of heaven, adore Him. Angel hosts His praises sing. Powers, dominions bow before Him, and extol our God and King. Let no tongue on earth be silent, every voice in concert ring, evermore and evermore. Christ, to thee with God the Father, and O Holy Ghost, to thee, hymn and chant and high thanksgiving, and unwearied praises be. Honor, glory, and dominion, and eternal victory, evermore and evermore.
Friends, I'm so glad that you have joined us in worship today, and I look forward to worshiping with you over the next couple weeks when we get to Advent. I want to let you know that we have a new YouTube page, and I hope that you'll check that out. We'll have all of our worship there as well as on our Facebook page. But friends, this week, your job is to extend this love and grace of Christ to the people that really need to hear it, that they would no longer thirst for justice, that they would no longer hunger for righteousness, because you have shared all of it in Christ's name. Friends, go and change the world. Amen.